Hi Cancer, and welcome to your September 2020 general reading. Please excuse the sirens behind me. So, bear with me Cancer. I've actually found your readings to be the most confusing of all, probably about the last 2 or 3 months, and it can be really hard when it's a confusing reading to make it into a general, okay? So, you got the Stork card as Wheel of Norman, so there's some sort of change on the way. It can be news coming. The Stork tends to be very positive change. Can be news of a new baby in addition to the family, news of extension around your career. It quite often can be physical moving. It doesn't have to be to do with the earth plane. It can be like your consciousness having a shift, because there's so much of that around. I think probably most people watching are very aware of the amount of changes and shiftings going on. So there's some sort of movement, some sort of migration is the card that you've got. Now I'm going to throw a reading for you, and we'll see if we can get any idea of what that's about. Oh, and also Cancer, I've built a new website and the link's underneath, and it discusses some of the services that I offer, and there's blogs and there's things like that, but if you want to check it out. But let's do a general reading to find out what this migrational energy is about. Some sort of change in the air. You know what, Cancer? For some reason, it feels very peaceful to me. So I really hope that's the energy that we're going to get. So I'm going to shuffle one more time. September is a very big month of it's a big initiation month, by the way, as a globe. So it's going to bring definitely a lot of change, and the potential for very positive change. Obviously, depending how we handle the energy. One more split. Okay. Oh. Going to throw it. Yeah, 8 of Wands. I don't know where this card belongs, so it sort of fell out the 3, so I'm going to keep it as an extra message. But the 8 of Wands is a card of change. See, a lot of change, quite rapid change. Again, we're talking about the energy of storks. Can be about residence, travel, a lot of communication, very dynamic, focused energy. I find the 8 of Wands hasn't got a shadow. Most of the tarot cards, they go between shadow and light, like everything. Same as astrology. And the 8 of Wands doesn't have one. It just sort of means movement. So I don't know where this card belongs, so I'm going to keep it here. Ace of Wands behind us with Temperance, beautiful. Fire. Fire is all about initiation. It's an action card. And even though Temperance is half water, half fire, it's a Sagittarius card. And the reason it's half water, it's half fire, it's about intuition, guidance, following your gut instincts. So what you want is the King of Cups. Yes, indeed. The gift is the 8 of Pentacles, so you're a busy bee, you're getting on with something. A challenge is the 10 of Swords. Don't worry about the 10 of Swords. I don't read the 10 of Swords the way that other people do. Maybe something's not fully completed yet, though. I really like the 10 of Swords as the gift. 3 of Cups in your relationships. So very light-hearted. Unless some of you are dealing with a 3-way situation, that is. Money and work, you've got the Devil. So many different ways of seeing that. And because it's underneath the Eight of Pentacles with this Ace of Wands here, the Devil rules Saturn. Saturn rules form. Yeah, what we can touch and we can see and we can feel. So some of you might be really seriously getting on with some sort of manifestation effort. Knight of Cups at soul level. So it's very interesting. And then out comes the Page of Cups. You've got an awful lot of emotions. You've also got the Two of Wands there, which is interesting because you begin in the Ace and end in the Two. I want to clarify that challenge. Tell me why the Ten of Swords is a challenge. What's going on there? So the Ten of Swords is how I read it. Okay, everyone reads cards differently. The Tens are always conclusion cards. The Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands to me are the end of a bit of a struggle, which means maybe you're still having to work with something. Yeah, there's something that's not reached a completion, a finale yet. Tell me why the Ten of Swords is a challenge. Yeah, it's with the Judgment card. Judgment and the Death card work together. I keep getting flashing lights. It keeps happening to me. So this is the opposite side of the Death card. It's about rebirth. And with the Ten of Swords as a challenge, there's something that's not came full circle. So you're dealing with something that's a work in process. And I don't know if it's to do with business or it's to do with relationships, because there's a strange relationship dynamic. What you want is the King. You've got the Knight and the soul level, and the outcome is the Page. So I'm sort of laughing and sort of not. But wanting the King and the Page turning up might be a little bit... I wonder if that's for the Ten of Swords and the Judgment card as a challenge. Because these are sort of really, really adorable cards. But it's funny that they're going sort of backwards, not... So, anyhow, behind you, the Ace of Wands and Temperance card, both very fiery. Sagittarius rules Jupiter, intuition, that guru within. Because, you know, Cancer, we're always being guided, especially as a Cancer. Actually, I mean, all the signs, and we all have water signs, but, you know, Cancer, you're very, very ruled by your intuition. And funnily enough, so is Sagittarius, and that's why it's half in water. But you're keeping your head above water. You're still holding the Grail with the Ace of Wands. So very much about pioneering, direction, intention. You know, setting your arrow and going after what you want is very, very much that energy. And that's maybe what the Devil's doing here. It's because the Devil, to bring anything into form, we need the energy of Saturn. It gets a really bad rap, Saturn, but without it, we would never bring anything into an achievement. We'd never build a business. So we can have all the ideas in the world, but until we can have this energy of perseverance, nothing ever changes. It's just a pipe dream. Yeah. You know, the Neptunian realm. I will find out more. So what you want is the King of Cups, and I'm sort of smiling because, I mean, don't we all, really? And it's good. So the King of Cups is this very, very, because he's, in his challenge, he's a little bit different. But this is someone who's, you know, emotionally sovereign. Beautiful. Emotionally sovereign. There is such a thing, Cancer. Sorry, I'm going into my own fantasy world. There's such a thing as emotional sovereignty when we all own our own emotional reality. Quite hard to see, but it does exist. This might be a person, it'd be a water sign, but it doesn't have to be, it doesn't work that way. It's more about a rich, deep, emotional connection with someone who's got his own throne, who has his own emotional authority, so doesn't project, yeah, not defensive, not, you know, Cancer, exactly what I'm talking about. So this is what you're looking for, but it's also about peace, because the King of Cups at the end of the day sits on an ocean, and he accepts reality exactly as it is, which is what peace is. When we're not accepting reality, we're in conflict. It's that simple, yeah. And I'm not talking about Cancer accepting all the crap that exists in this world, but just accepting for the moment where we are and what's going on. That's what brings peace. So maybe you're looking for this peace because I think some of you are building some sort of something new. I don't know. It's like you're working really hard, some of you, to bring something into manifestation. The challenge of the Ten of Swords and the Judgment card is something, it's not... So the Judgment card is the opposite side of the Death card. So that's what a cycle is. Death, rebirth, death, rebirth. And really, in fact, our lives are always going through this energy of change. Because it's a challenge for the Ten of Swords, I almost feel there's something here that's not quite reached. I want to say a happy ending, but it makes me feel like I'm about 10 years old when I say a happy ending. But when we get to Judgment, it's coming out of the, I say dark night of the soul, I sound so dramatic, but things have reached conclusions with the Ten of Swords, which means something has not, okay? Now let me carry on, I'll try and find out what's going on. So the Three of Cups in your relationships, the Three of Cups is more a card, unless you're dealing with a three-way situation. Some of you might be, all the threes mean that. If not, the Three of Cups is a really light-hearted energy. From, you know, it's about enjoying friendships, enjoying relationships for what they are. And I think, you know, I see sometimes when we all think, what did I miss the most over the last few months of lockdown? Sometimes it's just been that very light-hearted interchange with friends. And that's what the Three of Cups means to me, okay? Anything else in relationships? Because there's definitely something going on, yeah. Yes. Hanging Man. That's what these are about. There's another dynamic here. And only really the people watching, because I felt I've had the same reading for quite a few months, that there's something not came full circle yet. But you know what, Cancer? The King of Cups, he's the King of Cups because he lives very, very much in that present moment awareness. And when we're in that awareness is when we can have joy. These people fly, and the reason they fly is they're not being weighed down by the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands is like everything we carry with us from the past, you know, oppression, heaviness. So that's been released, and your heart is so much more lighter, but there's still a story here going on. So you've got the Devil in your money and work. I'll find out more what that's about, because I am not getting a difficult feeling about it. Tell me more about this card. Yeah, you get the Sun card with it. So the Sun card is about, in Lenormand, it's just a total yes card to whatever you've got going on. It's about power, it's about self-actualization. It's definitely about bringing something into form, okay? So again, when it's not in form, the difference between genius and non-genius is the ability to act. That's it. There's so many geniuses walking about this world who do not act on their visions. That is why the devil is not always a negative card, and Saturn's definitely not a negative sign, because without it, we're all floating around in some mad realm. So you're bringing something into form here. It could be a business, could be new projects, could be study. There's something that feels really good about it, Cancer. And when I started doing your reading, I live right by the beach, yeah, but I smelt this lightness. I smelt like the sun energy, and the sun energy did appear. And it's almost like, and you're my third reading, you and Aquarius both got readings of, it's almost a lot of stuff, and it's almost like you've been doing something and it's beginning to take shape, okay? And that's probably why your readings have been so confusing the last couple of months, because you've been in this sort of, maybe in some sort of process. Knight of Cups at a soul level. So here we're back to this relationship dynamic. Knight of Cups, not always the most serious card, the Knight of Cups. And it's ending in the Page of Cups. So there's definitely an emotional connection here. I still think it's bizarre that you want the King and you've got the Knight and the Page. So some of you might feel you're not being met at the level you want to be met. And maybe that's what the confusion's been about for a while. Because before we get to the Page of Cups, we get the Two of Wands. So, the Two of Wands is a little bit of a... Because you start on the Ace, you end in the Two, but you've already got the Ace of Wands in your hand. So you do know what you want, yeah? With Temperance, you're setting your goal, your intentions, and working hard to achieve it. I think the Two of Wands is more about an emotional situation. I'm really intrigued why it goes from the King to the Knight to the Page. Can you tell me why? Cards, see if they give me, yeah, Five of Pentacles. This is a card of division. So you might be dealing with someone who's under an awful lot of financial pressure. An awful lot of people are. Yeah, let's just put it out there. But the Five of Pentacles to me is about, I call it the wound of separation. So the wound of separation is when two people are polarized and they're not meeting in the middle. And there's a theme here. Now don't get me wrong, I love the Page of Cups. I love new beginnings. Yeah. I love the potential the Page has to offer. It's a very innocent heart. And an innocent heart is a heart that's been purified and it's very open to love. So I really love the Page of Cups, especially in quite an evolved soul, you know, who knows how to love without walls, or knows how to love without boundaries, which is sort of what you're looking for here. But the challenge of that Five of Pentacles is about somehow meeting. It's almost like, because if you look at the Five of Pentacles, one person's got their heart protected, see? And we protect our heart not because there's anything wrong with us, Cancer. We protect our hearts because we don't feel safe. Yeah? And I don't know if it's you or the other person. It might be both of you, esoterically. what we would argue with is another person is our mirror. So if someone is closing their heart, then we need to look at our own heart energy. In fact, I would say that we always need to look at our own heart energy. If someone's rejecting us, then it's our own heart we need to work to. Yeah. And trust me, Cancer, I'm working with that sacred wound right now. Tell me more what's going on in these relationships for Cancer, please. I was really hoping to get a little bit more of what I love about your reading is the practical part of your life is really straightforward. It's an emotional thing here. Give them at least an advice card to navigate this way. Yeah, you keep getting the Page of Pentacles. So I pair the Page of Pentacles with the Five of Pentacles because the Page of Pentacles sometimes does a small action to heal the divide. Doesn't have to be an apology. Sometimes the Page of Pentacles, so if this is a divide with another person, the page tries to heal the gap through some sort of small gesture. So that might be relevant. If not, your advice is to get on with this energy. Sometimes we turn our back and the situation that we've been really struggling with resolves itself for us. Not always. And knowing when to act and when not to act is what the wisdom of water tells you. And it's also learning to trust your intuition. Is it a good time to try and heal this gap? Or it might be the other person trying to heal it with you. It wasn't really very straightforward, Cancer. I'm so sorry. I just feel I've had this but what's not straightforward is your gift and trying to bring this thing into direction. It seems to be you're dealing with some sort of relationship dynamic that's maybe not equal. Because wanting the King and having the Page, I say, is a little bit like, okay, and maybe that's why you keep protecting your heart. Yeah? Anyhow, Cancer, I'm going to do what I can to do mid-month readings. I can't promise. Links below to my website and loads of love, Cancer. I really just... I did feel your reading a little bit less confusing. One stage less confusing. So much love to you. Bye.